Welcome back to some more out of the park baseball. It's a good one today. It's the game I was gonna do on Sunday that I didn't have time to do. It is the 5-6 Washington Olympics, 0-4 on the road at the 6-10 Rockford Forest Citys, who I believe are 4-4 at home. But welcome back. It's great to have you along. Um, and we are going to get into this starting lineups for both teams. We're going to start with the visiting uh, Washington Olympics. Leading off is second baseman Ed Duffy, batting .234. He's got one home run, 5 RBIs so far this season. Tom Foley, the center fielder, will bat second. He's on a bit of a cold streak. He is batting .208 with 6 RBIs, just above that Mendoza line. And this is 1871, before it was even called a Mendoza line. The 15th, by the way, of June in 1871. Ned Cuthbert, the left fielder, is due up third. He's batting .233, 1 RBI. John Bass, bats fourth. The shortstop, he's got .357 average with 1 home run and 11 RBIs. Charlie Gold, the first baseman, will bat fifth. He's batting .320 with 7 RBIs, 1 home run. John Radcliffe batting .348 with 8 RBIs. The third baseman is in the 6th spot. It'll be catcher Charlie Mills in the 7th spot, batting .270. He's got 6 RBIs so far this season. Elmer White batting .111 with 1 RBI. The right fielder occupies the 8th spot. And then it's pitcher Al Pratt to round out the order. He's batting .222 with 3 RBIs. We'll come back to pitchers in a moment. For the home Rockford Forest Citys, Cap Anson leads it off, the third baseman. He's got 7 RBIs. He's batting .364 so far this season. Left fielder George Hall's in the 2 spot, batting .256, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs so far this season. Ross Barnes, the second baseman, bats third. He's batting .314 with 8 RBIs. Lip Pike, right fielder, bats fourth. He's got a league-leading 4 home runs and 15 RBIs with a .333 average. Doug Allison, the catcher, bats in the 5 spot. He's got a .361 average with 14 RBIs. First baseman Joe Start is in the 6th spot. He's batting .319 with 6 RBIs. And then in the 7th spot, it's George Bird, center fielder, batting .288 with 9 RBIs so far this season. George Wright completes the trio of Georges on this lineup. He is batting in the 8th spot. The shortstop has a .234 average with 4 RBIs. And then pitcher Dick McBride, batting .351, is in the 9th spot with 2 RBIs. Your pitching matchup today: Al Pratt takes the mound for the Washington Olympics. He's 1-1 versus Rockford with a 3.0 ERA. In the season, he's 5-5 with a 2.92 ERA. He's got a 1.36 WHIP as well. Dick McBride will take the mound for the Rockford Forest Citys. He is 1-1 versus the Washington Olympics with a 3.65 ERA. He's got a 2.71 ERA on the season. He is 5-9 with a 1.22 WHIP. From the Agricultural Society Fairgrounds in Rockford, Illinois, it's a 1:05 first pitch start in front of a crowd of 752, 67 degrees. For those that use Celsius, that is about 18, I want to say. 36 is 68 minus. No, that's about 20. It's about 19 and a half, 20. So that's what, and it winds blowing in from center at 9 miles an hour. We're going to get this one underway. It'll be Ed Duffy to lead things off before we have the first pitch. It's time for our opening sponsor of the match. Should we do the national anthems? Maybe we should start to do the national anthems. That would be pretty cool before the first pitch, right? Let's do that now. Let's do that. We'll do the instrumental. We'll do the instrumental version, but the national anthem before we kick things off. There it is. National anthem complete. We are ready for some baseball, but first, give a wonderful follow to Swanky Pants 10. Fantastic streamer. He does. Why did the shout out not work? Is Stream Elements tripping on me? It can't be. It gave me a go live notification. I know Stream Elements is in my chat. It's under chat bots. It's there under chat bots. I have to give it moderator. There we go. Swanky Pants is a FM streamer. Here he is playing FM 26. He's got a great sense of humor. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Swanky's awesome. Had a wonderful stream back today as well. But, oh, God, yeah. Yeah. FM is brutal, man. FM is absolutely brutal. Oh, is that the one? That's the one where wasn't it like a save that went 50 yards and then they just picked it up and scored on it? Yeah, that's brutality, bro. What you been up to today, Benny? Working. Working. Yeah, I had to go back to work today. So work today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and then I'm off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, but yeah, go give Swanky as follows. Swanky Pants 10 is our sponsor for tonight's first inning. What about you, Swanky? How you been, man? National anthem done, out of the way. Ed Duffy in the batter's box. Dick McBride on the mound. And here we go. We are ready for some baseball here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm good, thanks. Oh, nice. Glad to hear, man. Here comes the first pitch. And he has popped it up right down the first base side. First baseman's there. He makes the catch, and Duffy's retired with the first pitch of the game. Duffy retired. That'll bring up Tom Foley, center fielder. The first pitch to Foley. That's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Tom Foley. He's taking that high, ball one. The 1-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. And Foley is retired. That's going to bring up Ned Cuthbert, the left fielder. Here's the first pitch to Cuthbert. And that's just on the outside corner for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Off the plate away. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's a called strike right down Broad Street. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That's off the plate inside, ball 2. And it is 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Grounded foul. It'll remain 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Grounded over to third, and Anson's made a fielding error. It's not taking him long. The most error-prone man in baseball. Requires just 3 batters to make his first, and Cuthbert is aboard on an E5. That's going to bring up John Bass, the shortstop. Run first, 2 down. Here's the first pitch. That's low for a ball. There is no throw over at second base, and Cuthbert has got second base for free. Now, there was no throw, so they don't count that as a stolen base, right? That counts as a no contest, I believe. Yeah, it's not in here as a stolen base because it can't. Oh no, it is stolen base. Ned Cuthbert. All right, let me mark it down. In the modern era, like currently today, if there is no attempt to throw to second, you don't actually get credited with a stolen base. It's just called a no, not a non-dispute, but I think it's called a non-contest or something like that, and it doesn't count as an actual stolen base. Here's the 1-0 to John Bass. And he's grounded out over to first. That'll be taken to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits. They leave one on base. We go bottom first here in Rockford. And we got no score. Third baseman Cap Anson is going to lead things off for the Rockford Forest Citys. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. Bottom first here in Rockford. Cap Anson settling in. It'll be Al Pratt on the mound for Washington. Here's the first pitch to Cap Anson here tonight. And he's going to take that for a ball. It'll be 1-0. Anson, a solid leadoff hitter, hitting .364. He's had 77 at-bats this season. His OPS, 814. Here's the 1-0. And he's grounded that to the backstop. It'll be 1-1. Here's the 1-1. He's lined this. Does it stay fair? No. It just lands foul. And Anson's now got a count of 1-2 against him. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And he's ripped this. This time it will stay fair. And Anson is the leadoff runner. He is aboard with a single. George Hall settles in, the left fielder. 1 on, nobody out. Here's the first pitch. He's grounded it over to first. Does that count as a fair ball? It does. It's counted fair. It's knocked. It's touched in fair territory, and then it rolls foul. So it goes down as an error because it was mishandled by the first baseman. Had that ball been touched in foul territory and landed fair, it would have been considered a foul ball. But it looks like it was touched in fair territory and then rolled foul, so it remains a fair ball. Charlie Gold is credited with the error, and so George Hall is aboard on an E3. Cap Anson gets to second, and now, all of a sudden, maybe a door of opportunity for Rockford. They got first and second, and nobody out. That brings up Ross Barnes to the plate. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and missed. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. He's taking that high for a ball, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That's grounded to the backstop, 1-2. The 1-2. Inside, ball 2. And the count is even. 2-2 pitch. That's inside and low, ball 3. The payoff pitch to Ross Barnes. He's grounded back up the middle. It's a base hit. They're going to hold Anson at third. Barnes gets aboard on a single. Going to second is Hall. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. And it's only the home run king, Lip Pike, at the plate. 15 RBIs this season. Here we go. The pitch to Pike. Yeah! Right down broad.
Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
Right down Broad Street for a strike. Here's the 0-1. He's taking that high and away. It's ball 1. The 1-1. That's below the knees, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. And Anson rips it to center. It's a bad throw. It's a bad throw. Second base gets it. He picks it up. He throws wildly to the shortstop, who's covering second. And the shortstop cannot handle it. So Anson scores. Hall goes to third. Barnes gets second. And Lip Pike is aboard via an E4. Second baseman Ed Dovey gets credited with the error there. And now bases are still loaded. And there is nobody out. That brings up catcher Doug Allison. Here's the first pitch to him. That's below the knees, ball 1. 1-0. That is, I don't know where that missed, but it looked like maybe off the plate. 2-0. the 2-0. And he's ripped it back up the center. It's going to be runs. Doug Allison delivers with an RBI single. Pike gets to second. Barnes goes to third. George Hall comes in to score, and it's a 2-0 Rockford game. Still nobody out here. And Joe Start is going to settle in. Here's the first pitch to Start. He's taking that well inside. Ball 1. The 1-0. It's popped up. It's drifting foul. It is going to land foul. It'll be 1-1. The 1-1. It's popped up into the seats. It'll be 1-2. The 1-2. That is just off the plate. 2-2. The 2-2 is in the dirt. 3-2. The 3-2 pitch. Lined right at the second baseman. They can throw over to second. They got him for a double play. Not good base running from Lit Pike. And so nobody will score. Pike does not tag up. He does not turn around in time and head back to second after the ball was catched. Or caught, I should say. Catched. Yeah, what a word. Caught. And so they throw him out at second. Start is out on the line drive right to the second baseman. And Bird is now settling in with runners on the corners and 2 outs. Very poor from Lit Pike. Here's Bird, though, settling in. Still a chance to bring home more runs. Throw over to first. And the runner is back in time. Here's the pitch. That's high. Ball 1. The 1-0. Grounded over to second. On to first, that's in time to retire the side. 2 runs on 3 hits, and they leave 2 aboard. We go to the top second here in Rockford, and the Forest Citys have opened up a 2-0 lead. Due up first for the Washington Olympics is first baseman Charlie Gold. Mr. Cellophane is a fantastic FM streamer. He's got an awesome save going. He's also trying TLS offline, which I'm really excited for. It's a fun save, man. It's a crazy long but fun save. You could always carry it over to FM 27, FM 28. It's awesome. Give him a follow if you aren't already. He's fantastic. He's got a great journeyman going on his on-stream save. Mr. Cellophane is our sponsor for tonight's second inning. Right. Gold settles in. First pitch to him from Dick McBride is fouled down the third base side into the seats. It'll be on 1. Here's the 0-1. And that's lined into right, base hit. And Gold's aboard with a leadoff single here in the second for Washington. Here's the first pitch now to John Radcliffe, the third baseman. That's fouled to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. 0-1 is ripped in the left. Does it stay fair? No, it just lands foul, and it's going to be 0-2. The throw over to first. Runner is back in time. Throw over to first. Runner is back safely. Oh, he's balked. The umpire has called a balk. And that gives Charlie Gold second base for free. Here's the 0-2. Grounded to the backstop. We go again. 0-2. 0-2 pitch. Check swing. They look at third, but the third base umpire says he didn't go. And I think Radcliffe is survived by the skin of his teeth there. The 1-2. That's ripped into left. Way back there. Foul. Here's the 1-2. This is popped up this time. Drifting foul. And it lands foul. The 1-2 again. Popped up in the infield this time. Shortstop's coming in for it. And he makes the grab, and that is going to be George Wright retired. Sorry, not George Wright. John Radcliffe. One away. Runner on second. Charlie Mills settles in, the catcher. Here's the first pitch to him. That is a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Grounded over to short. The throw on to first is in time, and that's the second out. Gold does take up third base, but now there's 2 outs. It'll be Elmer White, the right fielder, settling in. Here's the first pitch. That is right down broad. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Check swing, but it's in there for a called strike anyway, and it's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Inside, ball 1. The 1-2. Inside again, ball 2. The 2-2. Grounded to the backstop. We'll do it again. The 2-2 was outside, ball 3. Here's the full count pitch. Grounded over to second. On to first. That's in time, and that will retire the side. No runs on one hit. They leave one aboard. We go bottom second here in Rockford. The Forest Citys got a 2-0 lead. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Give me 1 second, chat. There we go. Welcome back. Bottom second here in Rockford. Rockford got themselves a 2-0 lead. George Wright settles in. He'll be the first batter here for Rockford. Oh, I forgot to wear my Oilers jersey. They're playing tonight. Well, I'll keep track in the sports score bot, but I'm glad they're leading finally. It took Pratt 26 pitches to get out of the first inning. McBride only has 31 through his 2 for Rockford. Here's George Wright, first pitch. That's grounded right over to first. The throw on to first, the pitcher covering, and it's in time, and Wright is retired. That's going to bring up Dick McBride himself. Latte Anarchist. What's that emote? Nice. Locked in. Welcome in. Thank you for the 3-stream watch streak. How are you? Right. Here's the first pitch to Dick McBride. That's high, ball 1. Oh, nice. How was the... Well, I mean, I'm assuming the move was a pain in the ass because moving in general is just never easy nor fun. But how's the new flat? Here's the 1-0. And that's popped up. Second baseman's coming in for it. He'll make the grab, and that'll be the second out of the inning. I take it you haven't unpacked everything yet, right? No, I'm not going to do no press-ups. Not on a recording, at least, Mikey. Right, back to the top of the order. Kai Banson. He singled his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's right on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's taken below the knees. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. That is below the knees. 2-1. Still no home internet. Man, I would go nuts. The 2-1. And they got jammed on that ball. That went to second base, and that is going to retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go top third in Rockford. And the Forest Cities have got a 2-0 lead. I'm writing on my phone. Yeah, I've been on Twitch Mobile. It's never a fun app, but still. I appreciate the fact that you're here, because unlike desktop, you can only have one stream open at a time on Twitch Mobile, unless you do the multi-Twitch website, but even that. The fact that you chose this stream means a lot, man. So I hope you get internet and everything unpacked within the next 2 to 3 days, and then you're chilling. You know what I mean? You're really, like, everything's like, your mind's at ease. You moved in. Right, third inning means new sponsor. Frodank Baggies is a Irish streamer who streams Football Manager, also does some other games like Microsoft Flight Simulator and the like. Give him a follow if you haven't already. He's got an awesome save. He's got a network save going with Zero, where he's playing as He's Cheltenham, and 0 is playing as Crawley. So give him a follow if you haven't already. The great Frodank Baggies is our sponsor for tonight's third inning. I turned them off for now, Swanky. It'll be Al Pratt, the pitcher, who settles in for the first at bat of this third inning. Here's the first pitch to Al Pratt. And he gets jammed on that one. That goes to third base. Over to first. That's in time. And Pratt is taken care of on the first pitch. 5-3 on the putout. They might return. But as of right now, especially on nights we're recording, so stuff like Action Time and in, stuff like Out of the Park Baseball, definitely during UT commentary, obviously, we are not going to do those. But I didn't feel like turning them on and off every night, so I turned them off, and I've left them off. And my intention is when I get back from Italy, I still have a gym membership. When I get back to Italy, I'm actually going to go back to the gym full-time. Not full-time, but you know what I mean, like 4 to 5 nights a week. Probably 4 nights a week, in all honesty. I would like to go every other day. I think every other day would be really cool. If I can go every other day to the gym, it'd be really nice. But I plan to pick that back up when I get back from Italy. Right back to the top of the order, Ed Duffy, second baseman. He popped up to the first baseman his last at bat. Here's the pitch, and that is lined right at the same player. And this it's caught for the out. It's going to bring up Tom Foley, the center fielder. He struck out his last at bat. Oilers now 2-0 up. Let's go. There's the first pitch to Foley. And he takes a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That is below the knees. 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Off the plate away. 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's grounded over to first. And McBride gets over and covers, and he will get the out. 3-1 on the putout, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. We go bottom third here in Rockford, and the hometown Forest Citys are leading by a score of 2-0. What's up, Pat Witz? Welcome in, man. Good to see you. Good morning to you, sir. I'm going to take Stream Elements advice and drink my damn water. We are going to take a 90-second timeout. We will be back with more in just a minute and a half. Right, welcome back. We're going to buy things for New Year's Eve. We're going to go early now. Later will be a lot of people. Sounds good, Pat. You about to go head out? All right, brother. I appreciate you swinging by, man. Good to see. Good luck with the New Year's Eve shopping. Right, bottom third here in Rockford. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I had a tab I wanted to close. And it started playing audio, and I was like, ah! All right. I almost like Simpson screamed. Right. Bottom third. George Hull settles in. He reached via an error his last at bat. First pitch to him from Al Pratt. That is lined into left, and Hall's got himself a leadoff knock. That brings up second baseman Ross Barnes. He had a single in the first. Runner on first, nobody out. Here's the pitch. That's inside, ball one. Check. You know what? I should. Hold on. There you go. There you go. Right. Barnes settles in. Here's the 1-0. He's going to take that for a called strike. It's 1-1. There's the 1-1. That's off the plate away. 2-1. A 2-1 pitch. And that's grounded to the backstop. 2-2. Dude, I get so I spend so much time putting that schedule together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I spend time actually sitting down and making sure my schedule's on Twitch, and then everybody comes in and goes, "When are you streaming next? When's your next event?" And I'm like, guys, it's always in the schedule. Always. And I understand it, though, because I could not name you another streamer that puts their schedule in Twitch's schedule feature. Do you know what I mean? I get it. But for somebody who doesn't consistently stream in terms of the fact that, like, some people I know, it's like Mondays, like KXJ is a great example. He's a really consistent streamer because every Monday, he's playing FM. And then, like, whatever he streams next, like Tuesday or Wednesday, he's playing the same game then too. And it's like, that's really cool, but, like, I just play whatever I feel like at that moment in time. And because of that, I know the stream can feel random, but I take time to make that schedule. And it's like nobody ever reads it. It does upset me a little bit. It's like, guys, I really put time into doing that. So you guys know when and where I'll be live and what I'll be playing, Here's the 2-2. That's grounded to the backstop, and it's going to remain 2-2. The 2-2. That is off the plate away and low. 3-2. The 3-2. Grounded over to second. On to second for the first, and that'll be a fielder's choice. Oh, shut up, Swanky. Fielder's choice, 4-6 on the putout. Barnes does get to first, they throw Hall out at second. And it will be first runner on with one out now. Right, here's the first pitch to Lip Pike, who sells. He reached via an error his last at bat. And that's high and in, ball one. Here's the 1-0. That's taken on the inside part of the plate for a call strike. Throw over to second is not in time. And Ross Barnes steals second base. 1-1 to count. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Off the plate away. 2-2. A 2-2. That is lined right at the second baseman. He'll grab it for the out. That's going to bring up Doug Allison. He had the RBI in the previous inning. Where your humor goes, my humor is, I think my humor is fine. I just think it's, I don't know. It's still here. Here's the first pitch to Allison, and that's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Swanky, my humor hasn't gone anywhere, man. It's been all over my last two FM streams, that's for sure. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded over to third. Oh, it's a bad play. And Allison's aboard on an E5. And third baseman John Radcliffe bobbled the ball. And that's allowed Allison to get down the line. It also means that Barnes goes to third. And it's runners on the corners with two outs here. Now you're ignoring me, I'm not ignoring you. I literally read all your messages. Chill, Swanky, chill. Here's Joe Start settling in. He lined into a double play his last at bat. Runners on the corners, two outs. Here's the first pitch. That is, it's going to get by the catcher, and coming in to score is Ross Barnes. It's a wild pitch. It was way off the plate away. It was way off the plate high. Barnes comes in. Allison gets the second, and it is a 3-0 Rockford game. Here's the 1-0. That's off the plate away, 2-0. A 2-0, just a bit outside, and it's 3-0. There's some humor for you, if you know that movie. Major League, hey, great movie. 3-0 pitch to Joe Start. He's checked his swing, but it's in there for a called strike anyway, 3-1. Here's the 3-1. That's right down Broad Street, 3-2. A 3-2 pitch. That is shot into left center. That's going to be a base hit. That is going to be runs. It's going to be an RBI double for Joe Start. Allison comes around from second to score. And that means it's 4-0 Rockford. Bird steps in. He grounded out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Bird. And it's in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's in there. Called strike. 0-2. And very quickly, George Bird's in a hole here. 0-2. Here's the pitch. That's inside. Ball one. The 1-2 pitch. Grounded down the first base side. It'll be 1-2 still. The 1-2. That is shot right at the left fielder. He didn't have to move very much. And that is going to be the final out of the inning. 2 runs on 2 hits. And they leave one aboard. We go top 4th here in Rockford. And the Forest Cities have extended their lead. It's 4-0. Due up first for the Washington Olympics is left fielder Ned Cuthbert, who is 0 for 1 so far today. New inning means new sponsor. Patwitz is a fantastic Filipino streamer who streams F1 Manager, Football Manager, and Apex Legends. Give him a follow if you haven't already. Patwitz is our sponsor for tonight's 4th inning. Three down here in Rockford. Ned Cuthbert settling in. 0 for 1, reaching via an error his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Cuthbert. And he has shot that into right. That is just going to land foul. Here's the 0-1. He got jammed. He popped it up right to the shortstop. He makes the play. And Cuthbert's retired. That's going to bring up John Bass, the shortstop. He grounded into a unassisted. He grounded out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch. That's in there for a called strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded foul down the first base side. It'll be 0-2. 0-2 pitch. That is shot fouled into the seats near the first base side. Here's the 0-2. This time it's fouled down the third base side. Here we go again. The 0-2. That's taken off the plate away, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That is popped up into left, and it just lands foul. There you go again. Here's the 1-2. That is shot in the left, way back there, and that's going to be off the wall on a bounce. The throw comes into second base, and John Bass has got himself a double. Really what Washington needed. Remember, they have yet to win on the road this season. Now they got a runner on second with just one out. It's going to bring up Charlie Gold, who singled in the second inning. Here's the first pitch to Gold. I don't know where that missed. It's 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's grounded right too short. The throw over to first is in plenty of time, and that's the second out of the inning. They hold Bass at second base. It's going to bring up John Ratcliffe. He popped up to the shortstop his last at bat. First pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's lined right at the second baseman, who gloves it, and that will retire the side. No runs on one hit. They leave one aboard. We go bottom fourth here in Rockford, and the Forest Cities lead by a score of 4-0. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. All right, welcome back. Feels like this game's going real quick. I'm 57 minutes in. We're already in the bottom fourth. I mean, Washington only having 2 hits has helped matters in terms of the speed, but I'm like shocked. Usually it takes me about, I would say anywhere from about 20 minutes an inning, a full inning, not a half inning. About 20 minutes a full inning. So we should be about 70 minutes in. I'm only 57 in. And the, you know, I do the starting lineups, and we did the national anthem before this, so we didn't even start. It's not like we started right away. But, yeah, quickie. Here comes George Wright. He's selling, and he grounded out his first at bat. First pitch coming from Al Pratt. And that's right down Broad Street. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's low, 1-1. The 1-1. That's grounded over to short. The throw is way too quick, and it's a bad throw. It's an E6. Everybody on the Washington side is having an error today. Shortstop John Baskets is first. It's the 4th for Washington, and it's the leadoff runner aboard here in the 4th. That'll bring up Dick McBride. He popped up to the second baseman his last at bat. Here's the first pitch. And that is off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. That's fouled. It'll be 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Throw over to first. Runner's back in time. And the 1-1 is inside, ball 2. Here's a 2-1. That's grounded to the backstop. It'll be 2-2 now. A 2-2. Inside, ball 3. It's 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. That's inside, ball 4. And Dick McBride has got a walk. That brings up Cap Anson. He's 1 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Anson. Off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. That's 1-1. The 1-1. That's below the knees, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's lined right back up the middle, base hit. They are going to hold right at third. McBride gets the second, and Anson's got himself his second single of the night. Bases loaded, nobody out yet again for Rockford. George Hall settles in. He's 1 for 2 so far today. First pitch to Hall. He's grounded that to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. The 0-1. And it's a called strike. It's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. Shot back up the middle, base hit. It's going to be runs for Rockford. They're going to hold McBride at third. And George Hall has got himself an RBI single. It's 5-0 Rockford. Anson goes to third. Wright scores, and it's still bases loaded with nobody out. That'll bring up Ross Barnes. Here's the first pitch to Barnes, who's 1 for 2. And that's a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, outside, ball 2. The 2-0. Check swing, but it's in there anyway for a called strike. It's 2-1. The 2-1. Rounded foul down the first base side. And now the count is even. The 2-2. Barnes shoots this right at the right fielder. It's going to drop. It's a base hit. Barnes gets an RBI single, and that makes it 6-0 Rockford. Going to second is Hall. Going to third is Anson. Scoring is Dick McBride. And once again, the bases are loaded for the home run leading Lip Pike at the plate. Rockford already starting to run away with it 6-0. And if Lip Pike finds his 5th big fly of the season, it could get out of control very quickly. Al Pratt, first pitch to Pike. That is inside. Ball 1. Pike is 0 for 2. Here's the 0-1. That's grounded over to first or to second. They get the runner at second. So Pike has got an RBI fielder's choice. So it's an RBI FC 4-6. Barnes is the one thrown out at second. Hall goes to third. Anson scores. And we got ourselves a 7-0 game. Runners on the corners, just 1 out. That brings up Doug Allison. 1 for 2 so far today with an RBI. Here's Allison. First pitch to him. That is high. Ball 1. The 1-0. That's a called strike. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded over to third. Can they turn 2? They go to second for the lead runner. They will not turn 2. It's another RBI fielder's choice. This time 5-4 is the putout. And Allison's aboard. They throw Pike out at second. Hall comes in to score. And it's 8-0 Rockford. It's going to bring up Joe Start, the first baseman. He is 1 for 2. Also with an RBI. Here's the first pitch. Off the plate away, 1-0, and it gets by the catcher, and Allison takes second base for free. Here's the 1-0. Grounded over to second. That's on to first, and the side is retired. 4 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1 on base. We go to the top of the 5th, and this is an 8-0 ball game. Due up first for the Washington Olympics is catcher Charlie Mills. New ending means new sponsor. Baka Benny Studios, a pretty chill streamer who mainly streams League of Legends. Give him a follow if you haven't already. He's a big supporter of a mutual channel that we both follow, but he's a pretty cool dude, real fun to talk to. And he's got a great chill vibe on his stream. Give them a follow if you haven't already. Bach Benny Studio is our sponsor for tonight's fifth inning. It's top fifth here in Rockford. Charlie Mills due up first. McBride has used just 50 pitches to get through the first 4 innings. By comparison, Pratt has already thrown 85. Thank you, Swanky. Get a great night's sleep, man. I'll talk to you soon, bro. It'll be Charlie Mills settling in. 0 for 1. He grounded out his last at bat. Here's the first pitch to Mills. And he has popped this right back to the pitching mound. The shortstop's actually going to come in to make the play. And that is the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Elmer White. He grounded out his last at bat as well. Here's the first pitch to White. Off the plate away, 1-0. The 1-0. Off the plate away, 2-0 now. 2-0 pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 2-1. The 2-1. That is shot deep in the left field. Going back as the left fielder. It's off the top of the wall. It almost leads the yard. It just stays in. Sliding in is Elmer White. And he's got himself a triple here. Another foot or two, and that would have left the yard. Now finally there's a chance for Washington to get something here. Runner on third, 1 out. That brings up Al Pratt. He grounded out his first at bat. Here's the first pitch to Pratt. Taken right on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's popped up. Second baseman's there. He makes the grab. That's the second out of the inning. Ed Duffy, the second baseman, due up next. He's 0 for 2. Here's the 0-2. That's way high, and it gets by the catcher. It's a passed ball, and coming in to score is Elmer White. And Washington is on the board. It's 8-1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Taken for a called strike. It's 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. Grounded to the backstop. It'll be 1-2 now. The 1-2 to Ed Duffy. Fouled into the seats. It remains 1-2. We go again with a 1-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Second strikeout for Dick McBride. That will retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit. Nobody left on base. We go bottom 5th here in Rockford, Illinois. Washington get a run, but they still trail by a score of 8-1. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys will be center fielder George Bird. We're going to take a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom fifth here in Rockford. 8-1 scoreline. Rockford 8 hits, 8 runs. Washington 4 errors to compound their problems. They did scratch one across in the top fifth, but now they got to defend from giving up any more. In which 3 of the 4 previous innings they have. Al Pratt still on the mound. It'll be George Bird settling in. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. Welcome in, Stuart. Good to see you, brother. And that is fouled to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. I'm doing fine. Hope you're doing the same. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I got work tomorrow. I got work Wednesday. I'm off 4 days. And then it's the final push to the Olympics, man. I got notification my coat shipped today. So my ski pants, ski boots, ski coat have all shipped. I've got a hat. I've got gloves. I've got a little bit of thermal underwear. I need to order more. So not this week, but next week I'm going to order thermal underwear, socks, and then a check bag, like something sturdy, because I actually don't have a check bag. My mom doesn't want me to use hers. She likes it so much. And I'm like, dude, you don't even fucking fly. But but I'm like, I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to get my own, you know. And I have a small carry-on already. That's like hard-shelled, but it's carry-on size. And I bought a clothing bag that has like 1 million different pockets. You ever see those ones that have like 10 million pockets and then it folds in on itself into a bag? So I have that. And that is, I'm going to use that as my carry-on because I can put my valuables in there. Charger, like phone charger and all that shit, right? And then I have I'm going to put like maybe like a week to 10 days worth of clothes so that, God forbid, knock on wood. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'm knocking here. There you go, knock on wood. Should anything happen to the check bag, I'll at least have some clothes until the airline can figure it out, right? That's the plan. So it's going to be something like a week's worth of clothes in the check bag, a week's worth of clothes in the carry-on bag, and then I'm going to put all the flags in the check bag as well, probably. The 5x8s, the real tiny ones might come on me with the check bag, because I have 5x8s, 5 foot by 3, I'm sorry, not 5x8s, 3 foot by 5 foot. I have a few of those, and then I have a lot of the 5x8 inch flags, you know, the real tiny ones. You see people wave like this. I have those. They're probably coming on a carry-on. So I have something to root with. And then the big 3 foot by 5 foots are probably going in the check bag. But yeah, that's basically it. I got to make room for the ski coat and the ski pants and all that to come in the check bag with me. Because the last thing I want to do is land in Italy where it's freezing. And it's going to be freezing cold and I have to be in Livigno. And they've messed up my check bag. And I don't have the equipment to go up to Livigno. You know what I mean? So, teaching a colleague about the Final Fantasy randomizer? Nice. I try to keep... I, by contrast, keep all this stuff private. I don't tell... Like, my sister doesn't know I really stream. My brother doesn't know I stream. I don't really have my brother on social media. My brother has an Instagram account, but mine has been inactive for like 2 years. Basically, I log into it and I like posts with it, but I don't post anything myself. And I plan to keep it that way. They're very... don't get me wrong. They're not the worst people in the world. They're my family. You know what I mean? But my siblings are very nosy because my mom and dad are very nosy. And because like they picked up that trait. And it's like, I really don't like that. I don't need them prying into my lives, watching me every day, every night that I'm streaming, seeing what I'm streaming, you know. So because they're the type that will gossip about it. So they don't have any. They don't know about my online footprint, and I try to keep my work to know as little as possible about my online footprint. So, but, right. George Bird settling in. First pitch to him from Al Pratt. That is lined into right, and that is a base hit from Al Pratt. I'm sorry, that is a base hit for George Bird. He's aboard, a leadoff hit. So Rockford have had the leadoff runner on for 4 of the 5 half innings now. Here's the 0-1. Or here's the first pitch, I should say, to George Wright, and it's fumbled by the third baseman. And Wright gets aboard on an E5. Bird goes to second. And John Ratcliffe gets his second error of the night. It's the 5th for Washington. And we have been here in games before watching Rockford and watching errors kill the game for Rockford. Just the other night, when Rockford was in Cleveland, they lost the game to Cleveland 5-4. They committed 7 errors in that game. Cleveland only committed 2. That was a big difference maker, right? Because Rockford had the lead for most of the night. They were up 4-1 before that 4-run 7th inning. 4-run 6th inning for Cleveland put them ahead. And that 6th inning had 2 errors in it alone. That 6th inning had 3 errors in it from Rockford. So we've seen errors kill games for teams. It's really killing it for Washington tonight. Dick McBride will settle in. McBride is 0 for 1 with a walk. Here's the first pitch. That's taken for a called strike. It's 0-1. Thank you for the lurk, 10th Shadow. Appreciate your brother. Here is the 0-1 pitch. Check swing. They look at first base. The umpire there says he didn't go. It'll be 1-1 to Dick McBride. Here's the 1-1. That's grounded over to short. On to second for 1. Over to first in time, and they got them both. It's a 6-4-3 double play. George Bird does get the third, but now there's 2 outs, and it's Cap Anson settling in here, the top of the order. Anson is 2 for 3 so far today. He finds a third single. He's going to have an RBI. There's the first pitch, too. Cap Anson. And he shot this into center field, but it's high and playable. Center fielder makes the grab, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit, and they leave 1 aboard. We go to the top of the 6th here in Rockford, Illinois. It's an 8-1 ball game. Due up first for the Washington Olympics will be center fielder Tom Foley, who's 0 for 2 so far today. New inning means new sponsor. DM Stewart is a retro game streamer, and he is a commentator of things like the Final Fantasy Randomizer, the Legend of Zelda Randomizer, and things retro gaming. Give him a follow if you haven't already. DM Stewart is our sponsor for tonight's 6th inning. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I pressed F1 instead of 1, but it doesn't seem to have borked the game. Right, Tom Foley settling in. It'll be Dick McBride on the mound. Here's the first pitch. That's grounded foul down the first base side. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is shot into left center. That's a base hit. And Tom Foley has a leadoff single for Washington. If you guys are big fans of Out of the Park, we got a lot more coming up over the next few weeks. Action Timing and Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation doubleheader tomorrow night. And then we're going to come back with Football Manager Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to start in the morning. That's New Year's Day. We're going to start in the morning. And we're going to have a triple header of Out of the Park baseball. We might do 4 if we can squeeze it in, but it'll be at least a triple header. Friday and Saturday will be all Football Manager. I do expect there will be some Unreal Tournament mixed in those days. But if not, then I do expect Friday or Saturday we'll finish Season 11 of Football Manager. And when we do, we will probably transition to a whole host of other games. Pangya, Rise of Nations, something like that. Sunday, the 4th of January, will be a quadruple header of Out of the Park. The 5th is Rise of Nations. The 6th is going to be more time. And then 7th is going to be the return of F1 with Heindo. Unless he said he might have a major trial that week. So if he does, we'll probably play start Season 12 of the Longest Save. If we're not through the off season by then, and Heindo's unavailable for F1, well, we might do something else. I don't know. But then Thursday the 8th is more Out of the Park. So you're going to get it on January 12th and January 17th. You're going to get a doubleheader on 17th. That's my birthday. We're playing Out of the Park on my birthday. And then that is pretty much going to be it until, honestly, probably until March. Because for almost the entire month of February, I am out of the country. So if you like Out of the Park, you're going to get plenty of it over the next few weeks. Dick McBride on the mound. It'll be Ned Cuthbert settling in. Runner on first, nobody out. First pitch to Cuthbert, who's 0 for 2 so far today. He's grounded that to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. That's grounded down the first base side, 0-2. The 0-2. Check swing. He did not go. It'll be a ball below the knees, 1-2. It was nowhere close to going. Here's the 1-2. That is grounded over to third. That is absolutely shot on to third. They go for the lead runner. They will get him. And it will be a 5-4 fielder's choice. Cuthbert does get aboard. Foley is the man thrown out at second base. And now it's runner on first with 1 out. John Bass settles in. He had a double his last at bat. He's 1 for 2. Here's the first pitch to Bass. That's inside. Ball 1. 1-0 pitch. Grounded over to short. They're going to go to second for the lead runner. And it's another fielder's choice. This time 6-4 on the putout. Bass gets the first, and Cuthbert is the man thrown out at second. And now it's runner on first with 2 outs. That'll bring up Charlie Gold. He's 1 for 2 so far today. Here's the pitch to Gold. That is high and away, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. That's a called strike. Gets 1-0 on. You want to know a crazy fact, gang? You want to know a really crazy fact? This team that we're playing, the Washington Olympics, they're called the Olympics, right? This is 1871. The modern Olympic Games did not exist at this point in time. I believe 1894 was the first modern Olympic Games. Here's the 1-1 to Charlie Gold from Dick McBride. That's inside, ball 2. The 2-1 swung on and missed. That's 2-2. A 2-2 pitch. Grounded over to second. They throw it on to first. That's in time. That will retire the side. No runs on one hit. They leave one aboard. We go bottom 6th here in Rockford. It's an 8-1 Forest Citys lead. Due up first for the Rockford Forest Citys is left fielder George Hall, who is 2 for 3 today with an RBI. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in a minute and a half. Welcome back. Welcome back. Bottom 6th here in Rockford. Al Pratt still on the mound for Washington. He's only responsible, by the way, for 2 of the 9 runs that Rockford have scored today. He's only got 2 earned runs against his name. George Hall settles in. First pitch to him. And Hall grounds it to the backstop. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Called strike. It's 0-2. The 0-2. Grounded over to second. That's a diving stop. It's another error. It's another error. It is going to be an E4. And it's a 2-base error. Second baseman Ed Duffy gets his second of the afternoon. And now Washington have 6 errors on the afternoon. Ross Barnes will settle in. He's got a runner in scoring position. Nobody out. Barnes is 2 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch from Al Pratt. Check swing. They ask first base. The umpire there says he didn't go. And it's counted as a ball, 1-0. The 1-0. That's grounded back towards the mound. Shortstop's got it over to first. And that's in time for the first out of the inning. Barnes almost beat that out, by the way. Very close play at first. No instant replay here. It's 1871. Hall did get to third base, so he's 90 feet away. And there's one out. That'll bring up Lip Pike. He's 0 for 3 with an RBI. They have him as having 2 RBIs. I only have him as having 1. Oh, I know why. He got an RBI on the ground out in the third. I didn't record that. I forgot to record that. He couldn't have in the first because it's an error. But he got an RBI. RBI line out. First pitch to Pike. And that's taken off the plate away. 1-0. The man has got to be I'm pretty sure he's leading the league now with 17. At least the National League with 17 RBIs. Here's the 1-0. And he has absolutely rocketed that into right. That's way back there. And it's gone. Lip Pike with a 2-run blast. And he's got himself another pair of RBIs. 4 on the afternoon. Hall will score. And it's 10-1. Absolute crushing. Al Pratt still on the mound after that. That's going to bring up Doug Allison. Here's the first pitch to Allison. And he has shot that in the left center. That's going to drop base hit. It's going to go all the way to the wall. And Allison's got a double here with 1 out. That's his second hit of the afternoon. Pratt not responsible for George Hall at part of the home run, but he is responsible for Lip Pike. He's also responsible for Doug Allison on second base. Joe Start settles in 1 for 3. He's got an RBI as well. Here's the pitch to Start. That is a ball. 1-0. Here's the 1-0. And that is grounded down the third base side. The 1-1 inside 2-1. Here's the 2-1. That is inside 3-1 now. A 3-1 pitch. Ball 4, and Joe Start's drawing a walk. First and second now with 1 out. It's going to bring up George Bird. Bird's 1 for 3. First pitch to Bird. Check swing. He asked first. He didn't go. 1-0. The 1-0. Off the plate away, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. Throw over to second, and the runner is back safely. The 2-0 is grounded to the backstop. It'll be 2-1. 2-1 pitch. Grounded to the backstop again, and now the count is 2-2. The 2-2 to George Bird is high. Ball 3. Full count. Here's the payoff pitch. Grounded back to short. Oh, it's a fielding error. No way. It's a fielding error. It's an E6. Start gets the third. Second. Allison gets the third. Shortstop John Bass has got his second error of the afternoon. It's Washington's seventh. And now the bases are loaded for George Wright. He's 0 for 3. But there's still only one out. Here's the first pitch to Wright. That's taken on the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Here's the 0-1. That's high, 1-1, and it gets by the catcher. Coming in to score is Doug Allison. Start goes to third. Bird gets second. And it's 11-1. Here's the pitch to Wright. And that is lined right. That's going to be foul. The 1-2 pitch. Popped up base hit. It's in the center. And Wright's got himself an RBI. His first hit of the afternoon. Bird is stopped at third. Joe Start scores. It's 12-1, and they have had enough. They have pulled the plug on Al Pratt. Pratt goes 5 1/3. And they'll bring in Davey Force. He's going to come in now. Dick McBride settles into the batter's box. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. Popped up. Second baseman's over there. He makes the grab. That's the second out of the inning. Kadava, welcome in, man. How are you? Welcome to some out of the park, man. Rockford have opened up a can of whoop ass on Washington. It's 12-1. 2 separate 4 spots for Rockford. Right, we go back to the top of the order. It's Cap Anson. He's 2 for 4 so far today. Here's the first pitch from Davey Force. That is off the plate away, 1-0. There's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. That's 1-1. The 1-1 off the plate away and low, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's grounded to the backstop. It'll be 2-2. The 2-2. That is shot into center. Is it playable? Is it going to stay in the yard? It's off the top of the wall. And Cap Anson has got a 2 RBI triple. Coming in to score is George Bird from third. Wright goes all the way around from first. He will score. It's 13-1. And we've batted around the order here in the 6th inning. George Hall will settle in. He's 2 for 4. The first pitch to Hall is off the plate away, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. Grounded over to first. This might be a way out of the inning, and it finally is, as he grounds out to the third baseman, and the side is retired. Wow, 6 runs on 4 hits, and they leave 1 on base. We go to the top of the 7th. It is, I'm sorry, I just wrote 4 in the 6th spot. That's a 6 in the 6th inning. That's not a 4 spot. That's a 6 spot. We go to the top of the 7th. It's 14-1. New ending means new sponsor. 10th Shadow is a very occasional streamer, but he's a real cool dude to watch. He's last playing Dead or Alive 6. He did a playthrough of Silent Hill F. He also plays Action Taimanen. Give him a follow if you haven't already. The fantastic 10th Shadow is a sponsor for this 7th inning. Right. So I got pinged in Discord. Ah, shit. John Ratcliffe strides to the plate, and he's going to pop this up into center. He was the first man up. That is going to be the out. And Radcliffe is retired on an F8. That's going to bring up Charlie Mills, the catcher. He's 0 for 2. Here's the first pitch. Grounded over to first. He'll take it to the bag himself, will Joe Start. And that is going to be the second out of the inning. 2 pitches, 2 outs here from Dick McBride in the 7th. I'll bring up Elmer White, the right fielder. He is 1 for 2 so far today. Here's the first pitch from White. Swung on and missed. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That is lined into right center. That could be a base hit, but it's high. It is going to be a base hit. And Elmer White gets his second hit of the afternoon on what's not been a good afternoon for Washington. Right, Davey Force will settle in now. Force is 0 for 4 at the plate this season. Here is the first pitch from Dick McBride. He has chopped that down the right field line, but it just lands foul. 0-1. Here's the pitch. That's his first base hit. Davey Force has got his first base hit of the season, and that is an error on the outfielder as well. Center fielder George Bird commits a fielding error on the ball. So that's going to mean White goes to third. Force gets to second. And it's second and third with 2 outs. That is going to bring up Ed Duffy. He's 0 for 3 so far today. First pitch to Duffy. He's fouled that to the backstop. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. That's 0-2. Duffy struck out his last at bat. Here's the 0-2. He's hit by the pitch. And Duffy gets on base, and the bases are loaded for Washington. Tom Foley's 1 for 3 so far. I'm sorry, it's going to be a substitute. It's Bob Armstrong. Armstrong 1 for 6 so far this season. That hit's got 2. Oh,
I owe allegiance to
hey!
no entity. I intend to live by my own code now.
Welcome in. Thank you for the rate. Is it Zotofores? Is that how you say it? Zotofores? Is it just Tufores? How do you actually pronounce your name? But welcome in. Thank you for the raid. We are playing some Out of the Park. We are Extofortis. Got you. Extofortis. Got you. Okay. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. What were you playing? Oh, you okay? Oh, shit. Okay, cool. I'll make sure to get you a shout out. I like to do things. I like to give the first 9 people that stream that show up as a sponsor to each of the innings. So right now, when we get to the top of the 8th, you will be our sponsor for the 8th inning. Welcome in. If you guys don't know, if this is your first time here, my name is Ben Akage. We are playing Out of the Park. I do play other games on stream. Out of the Park is not the only game I stream. Football Manager is actually probably the main game I stream. But we do Out of the Park. We are doing a 1871 save. We went all the way back. We threw it all the way back. Before radio, before commentary, before anything. I was actually telling chat earlier tonight, you guys are watching a team called the Washington Olympics. And this is 1871, so the modern Olympics didn't even exist when this team did. Because remember, I think 1890. I think it's 1894 was the first modern Olympic Games. So it's before it all. And we're commentating through. We commentate through the 1871 season. It is currently the 15th of June in 1871 in our save. Washington is 5-6. They are 0-4 on the road, and they are getting absolutely smoked tonight. Rockford are 6-10. 1896 and that. Okay, 1896 and that. You're right, because then they had the 1900 games, and then I believe they had the one-off 1902 games because there were some people in the IOC at that time that wanted it every 2 years instead of 4 because they loved it so much. And then they did the 1904 games, and then they just went every 4 years after that. But yeah. So we're in 15th of June, 1871. Rockford are 6-10. They are, I believe, 4-4 at home. And they are smoking Washington. If you guys see me look down, which I will do a lot, it's because I actually have a scorebook, and we are scoring the game. So if you want to know how an inning went, feel free to ask. But yeah, we play everything on the stream, Out of the Park, Football Manager, Action Time, and then Pangya, F1 Series, Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation. I have a Rise of Nations save that I'm going to be picking up next. I think actually that's next week. But yeah, like literally everything on this save. So big sports guy. Love football, baseball, and ice hockey. Those are my big 3. So you're going to see Sports Score Bot posting the NHL scores tonight. But welcome in. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. If you have to raid and run, Exto, I understand. Make sure you get food, water, and rest if you need any of those 3. But yeah, thank you. We're gonna get back to it. Right. So it is Bob Armstrong who is pinch hitting for Tom Foley. So Foley finishes 1 for 3. Armstrong is 1 for 6 so far this season. And Dick McBride, on just his 85th pitch here in the top 7th, will deliver this first one. And that is in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's off the plate away. It's 1-1. Bases loaded for Washington. If they have any hope of getting back in this, they're down by 13. But if they have any hope, these are the opportunities you got to take. Here's the 1-1. That's in there for a called strike at the knees, and it's 1-2 now to Bob Armstrong. McBride has been dealing tonight. He's got 2 strikeouts. He's also not been responsible for Washington's run. So here he is responsible for the runner on third, though, and the one on second, and the one on first. He's responsible for all 3, actually. So here's the 1-2. That is popped up, drifting foul. It will land foul. We'll do it again. Here is the 1-2 pitch. That's off the plate away. It's 2-2. Right, the 2-2 to Bob Armstrong. Grounded over to first. They step on the bag, and they get out of the inning without any trouble. No runs, 2 hits. They left the bases loaded. It's bottom 7th in Rockford. You're here and take me out of the ball game. I'm going to play the one that was created during COVID by Harrison Scheckler. And we're going to step away and take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back. That's a lovely rendition. Enjoy this one from Harrison Scheckler. We're gonna step away for 2 minutes during the stretch. We'll be back with the bottom 7th in just a few minutes. You heard the man. We're going to play ball. We're back, bottom 7th here in Rockford at the Agricultural Society Fairgrounds. It was a 1:05 first pitch start, so game time right now 2:07. And we've got Ross Barnes settling in, the third baseman. He is currently 2 for 4. Davey Force in relief of Al Pratt, who only lasted 5 1/3. He threw 117 pitches. Only responsible for, I believe, 3 or 4 earned runs. But he did need relieving. Davey Force has come in. He's pitched 2/3. Given up 1 hit, but so far no runs. And now he's back on the mound here again in the 7th for Washington. Ross Barnes settles in. Here's the first pitch to him. And that is a called strike on the outside part of the plate. It will be 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That is high and away, 1-1. The 1-1 pitch from Davey Force. Below the knees and wide, and it's just off the plate away. It's 2-1. Here's the 2-1. And it's grounded down the third base side. It will be 2-2. By the way, if you guys are still here from the Exto Forest raid, you're going to see a lot of commentary on the stream if you stick around. I'm actually a former esports commentator. Used to commentate Counter-Strike, specifically women's Counter-Strike. I commentated Counter-Strike for 4.5 years. I've done the F1 game. I've done Assetto Corsa Competizione, which I did endurance racing for a season in that. GT3, GT4 cars mainly. I did, and then I do now I just do my favorite game, which is Unreal Tournament, which is Unreal Tournament 2004 more specifically, but it's an old arena shooter that's still kicking around. Got a very loyal community of a few hundred players that still play it. And they compete against each other about once or twice a year, so I'll commentate that. I did that on, was it Saturday? No, it might have been Friday we did that. But yeah. You'll see a bit of that, and that's where this comes from. I got the old-timey mic, too. So I've been doing some form of commentating, whether it's actual real esports or it's this kind of stuff for the better part of 6 years now, just over. So, yeah. You'll see the mic and you'll hear the mic quite often on this stream as well. Because you'll be able to tell the difference between this mic here and this mic here. It's like night and day, dude. It's like night and day. Right. 2-2. And let's, sorry, my pencil here. 2-2 pitch incoming from Davey Force. That is off the plate away. It's 3-2. The full count pitch now. That is lined right at the third baseman. He's gloved it, and that is going to be Ross Barnes, retired on an L5. 7 errors for Washington has helped been their undoing, but they have surrendered 13 hits. Neither of them are helpful in winning this game today. Not a great loss if you're Washington. It's a pretty competitive division they're in. I believe they're in the American League. And Boston is sitting atop there at, I believe, 8-1. So 5-6 coming in, about to go 5-7. Might put a big dent in playoff plans. Remember, this first 1871 season, it is only a 32-game season. So this is the first game of Rockford's second half of the season. Lip Pike settles in. The right fielder, hit a 2-run home run in his last at bat. He is 1 for 3 today he's 1 for 4 today with 4 RBIs. Here is the first pitch to Lip Pike. And that is right in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and missed. That's 0-2. The 0-2 pitch to Lip Pike. That is popped up. It's going to land. It's a base hit for Pike, who gets his second knock of the afternoon. And he's aboard with 1 out. It's going to bring up Doug Allison. He is 2 for 4 so far today with a pair of RBIs. Here's the first pitch to Allison. He's grounded that foul down the third base side. The 0-1. Inside. Ball 1. The 1-1. That is on the outside part of the plate. It's strike 2. Now a little bit of a hole here for Allison. The 1-2 pitch. He's fought that off. It'll be 1-2 still. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. 2 away now. It's going to bring up Joe Start, the first baseman. He has 1 for 3 so far today with an RBI. No, it's not. Because Rockford are going to make a change. It's going to be Tom Pratt that steps in. He is settling in for Joe Start. So, writing it in the wrong box. Right. Tom Pratt 1 for 4 so far this season. Here is the first pitch. That's off the plate, 1-0. Here's the 1-0. And he's grounded that over to second. That'll be on to first. That's in time, and that will retire the side. No runs on 1 hit. They leave 1 on base. We go top 8th. And it is 14-1 for the Forest Citys. Due up first for the Washington Olympics will be left fielder Ned Cuthbert. Right next to us is a out of the park baseball streamer. Go check him out. I'm going to go check him out. Let me tab out real quick so I can actually drop you a follow. Now that I've shouted you out. Let me also turn Vivaldi audio off of the mainstream and drop you a follow, man. Let me do that now. Thank you very much for the raid. Go give him a follow if you like Out of the Park. Pretty cool stuff. Right. A lot of Out of the Park. Very nice, man. Very nice. It's awesome. Oh, you got a real... Okay. Cool. Right. Let's crack on. Top 8th. 90 pitches for Dick McBride. Ned Cuthbert settling in. He is 0 for 3 so far today. Here is the first pitch to him. And that is a called strike on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That's high, ball 1. The 1-1. That is shot into center. And that is way back there. It's going to land. It's a base hit. It takes a hit off the wall and 1 bounce. It's a double for Ned Cuthbert. And that's just what Washington needed. Leadoff runner in scoring position. It's runner on second and nobody out. Right, real quick, if you guys like Out of the Park, these 1871 games, I am actually quite behind on uploading them. But that is not the one. Nope, that is not the one. I put AT instead of YT. That is the YouTube. There we go. I have the whole playlist of what we've commentated so far and viewed so far on YouTube. I'm going there now to see how many games we actually have done. Out of the Park, 26 games of Out of the Park so far are uploaded. The last game was the 4th that I've uploaded over there was the 4th of June, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sitting in the wings, and then tonight being the 7th. So I was doing an esports tournament the last few weeks, and I've been kind of prioritizing uploading those VODs. So that's there, but or that's most of the content that's on YouTube recently. But the whole 1871 season that we've done so far is there. Every game that we've done is uploaded and ready for your viewing whenever. So definitely check that out if you're interested in seeing how the season's played out so far. Right. Dick McBride on the mound, runner on second. John Bass is the hitter settling in. 1 for 3 so far today. The first pitch to Bass, and that is going to be a pass ball. Ooh, it almost gets by. Almost a pass ball, but instead it is just a ball. And the count will go to 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. In there for a called strike. It's 0-1. The 1-1. Inside, ball 2. And it's 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That is popped up in the infield. Third baseman Anson's coming over. He makes the grab. And Bass is retired on a P5. Cuthbert cannot move because of that. So runner on second, 1 out. And we get another substitution. Charlie Gold is coming out of the game. He finishes 1 for 3, and we've got Jim Carlton, who is going to step in to the batter's box. Carlton's 4 for 9 so far this season. Here is the first pitch to Carlton, and he's going to take that off the plate away, 1-0. The 1-0. That is chop foul to the backstop. 1-1 to count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That is grounded over to short. On to first. It's a banned throw from the shortstop. Shortstop George Wright gets the error. It is the third error for Rockford on the night. And Carlton is aboard on an E6. That brings Cuthbert over to third. No, Cuthbert stayed at second, did he? He stayed at second, yeah. Cuthbert did not advance because the play went to shortstop, so he didn't want to risk it. When you're 13 runs down, you might have to risk it for a biscuit. It would have worked out for him, but he did not. Now it's just first and second, 1 out. John Radcliffe settles in. Third baseman 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch to Radcliffe. Check swing. They ask third base. He did not go. Here's the 1-0. That's chopped to the backstop. It'll be 1-1. The 1-1. That is shot into center, but that is playable right at the center fielder who makes the grab. And that is the second out of the inning. Radcliffe won a back-to-back F8s for Radcliffe now. Charlie Mills, the catcher, will settle in. He's 0 for 3. Runner on first and second, 2 out. Here's the first pitch. That is right down to shoot, but it's low, 1-0. Looked like that was going to be a strike to me, but still. Here's the 1-0. That's on the inside part of the plate. It's 1-1. The 1-1. Check swing, but he definitely didn't go, and it's inside. It's 2-1. The 2-1 pitch. Popped up in the infield. It's playable. Pitcher's coming over, but the first baseman there makes the play, and the side is retired. No runs on 1 hit, and they leave 2 aboard. We go bottom 8th. It's 14-1. We are going to take ourselves a 90-second timeout. We'll be back with more in just a minute and a half. Welcome back. Bottom eighth. Rockford with a 14-1 lead. And George Bird is going to be replaced here as well. He is subbed out. They're going to save some legs here in Rockford. Not that they need to, but they're going to give some... they have some other players in the lineup that deserve a few at-bats, and they're going to give one of them... they're going to give one to one of them now. Harry Dean. I don't know, but I failed to write a 10-letter name in the box twice. I can fit someone like Doug Allison in there. I fit Matthew Johnson in there the other day, but I can't fit Harry Dean in there for some reason. Struggling. Right. Right. Dean is a pinch hitter. He's coming in 8th for 7. Right. He's going to lead off. Here's the first pitch to him. He's coming in for George Bird. Bird will finish 1 for 4, by the way. Here's the first pitch to Harry Dean, who was 1 for 4 with an RBI this season. And he has flied this out the left. It's drifting foul, and it will land foul. We do it again. The 0-1. Down in, I think that's just a little bit inside. 1-1. The 1-1 pitch. That is shot into left, and it just lands foul. We do it again at 1-2. Here's the pitch. That's high, ball 2. Even count. Here's the pitch. That is below the knees. And the count is full. The payoff pitch from Davey Force. And that is ripped into right center. Way back there. One bouncing off the wall. And Harry Dean has got his second base hit of the season in just 5 plate appearances. And it's a double. And Rockford have got the leadoff man on second base with nobody out. The pain could continue here for Washington. It'll be George Wright settling in. He is 1 for 4 with an RBI himself. Here's the first pitch to George Wright. Swung on a miss. That's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's right back at the mound. And he's got it for the first out. It says line drive, so I'm going to record it as an L1, but that was very close to just being like a pop-up. You know, it was a line drive. It was like the slowest moving line drive. Dick McBride will settle in the pitcher. He is 0 for 3 with a walk. Here's the first pitch to McBride. And that's a called strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Force getting a little tired on the mound. And that's going to be taken over to the bag himself by the first baseman, and that is the second out of the inning. It'll be Jim Carlton that takes it to the bag. Brings up the top of the order, and Cap Anson, who is 3 for 4 today. I'm sorry, 3 for 5 today. And he's got 2 RBIs. Forrest is getting tired, but he just needs one more out. Certainly we're not coming back for the bottom of the ninth. So. First pitch to Anson. Check swing. They ask first base. He didn't go. There's the 1-0. And that is shot into right. That's a base hit. That is actually a run as well. Because Dean went to third on the ground out to first. So Anson's got a single, and it's an RBI. And coming in the scoring is Harry Dean, and it's 15-1. We've not really had this many blowouts so far this season. We've had some real cracking games, but, Boston won over Rockford 19-11, but they scored 9 of those runs in the 9th. So that was a relatively close game. Philadelphia beat Rockford 17-4, and Fort Wayne beat Troy 16-3. Fort Wayne beat Boston 21-6. Those are probably the biggest blows out. That was right at the start of the season. We've not really had anything since. We've had an 11-2 game where Troy, I'm sorry, that's I'm looking at the wrong game, where Rockford beat Troy. But everything else has been pretty reasonable. There's a 10-2 in there, but nothing like this. George Hall settles in, the left fielder. He is currently 2 for 5 with an RBI. First pitch to Hall. He's going to take a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Grounded to the backstop. It's 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's below the knees. It's 1-2. The 1-2. Fouled to the backstop. Will go again at 1-2. The 1-2. That's way outside. 2-2. Here's the even count pitch. In the dirt. 3-2. The payoff pitch to George Hall. Grounded over to first. The pitcher's coming over to cover. Safe is the call. And he's beat it out for an infield single. Going to second is Anson, and it's first and second with 2 outs. Thank you for the hydrate, Pat. Two on, 2 outs. Ross Barnes will settle in. Barnes is 2 for 5 with an RBI. Here's the first pitch. That's high, ball 1. Home in 20 minutes. Nice, man. Here's the 1-0. That is going to get by the catcher. It's a wild pitch. Going to third is Anson. Going to second is Hall. And now those runners are in scoring position. 2-0 pitch. Check swing. He was nowhere close to going, and it was nowhere close to being over the plate. 3-0 the count. Here's the pitch. Inside. Ball 4, and Barnes has drawn a walk. That brings up, for the 3rd time this game, Limp Pike, who already has a homer, is coming up to the plate with the bases loaded. The man is leading the league in home runs with 5. He's got 19 RBIs. That is going to be a league-leading tally as well. And he's got a huge opportunity here. A tiring Davey Force on the mound. Here's the first pitch to a Limp Pike, who is currently 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs today. And he is going to line this in the left, and it just runs foul. Here's the 0-1. And he has shot this in the left, base hit. It's going to be more RBIs for Limp Pike. The man is a machine today. And Limp Pike has got himself an RBI single. It's 5 RBIs on the day for Limp Pike. 3 hits in 6 at-bats. Coming in to score is Cap Anson. Going to third is George Hall. Going to second is Ross Barnes. And Doug Allison will settle in. Allison is 2 for 5 with a pair of RBIs today. Here's the first pitch to Doug Allison. That's low, ball 1. Ball 1 there. Just need one more out. It's 16-1. This is ripped into right, and it lands foul. 1-1 to count. The 1-1. It's a check swing. They're going to ask first base, and the first base umpire says he didn't go. No swing. Count goes to 2-1. 2-1 pitch. And that one swung on and missed, but it's going to be a passed ball. And coming in to score is George Hall. Going to third is Ross Barnes. Going to second is Lip Pike. And it is 17-1 Rockford. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Allison. Right back up the mound, base hit, and Allison drives in his third RBI. And it's an error on the center fielder in E8. So center fielder Bob Armstrong is the one who gets credited with the error there. It counts as a single for Allison, who gets to second on the play. And it's going to be a 2. Now, does that count as 2 RBIs or 1 because of the error? Let's just take a look. We're looking at Doug Allison here. That counts as an RBI. So he gets a 2 RBI single. That brings his total on the afternoon to 4. Scoring from third was Barnes. Scoring from second was Pike, and it's 19-1. Tom Pratt actually gets a second at bat in this game. Here's the first pitch to him. He has lined that back up the center. That is another base hit. Allison goes to third. And now we got Harry Dean coming up to the plate for a second at bat. We have gone around the order here in the 8th. Second time this game we've gone around the order. Runner on first and second. 2 outs. Here's the first pitch. That's a called strike. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. That's fouled to the backstop. It's going to be 0-2. The 0-2 pitch. That's in the dirt, 1-2. The 1-2 pitch now. That is shot into center field. Is it playable? Yes, it is. And finally, the side is retired. 5 runs on 6 hits, and they leave 2 aboard. We go to the bottom, or the top of the 9th. 19-1 Rockford. Due up first for the Washington Olympics will be third baseman John Radcliffe. No, I beg your pardon. It'll be right fielder Elmer White. So I've actually ran out of sponsors. It's been a quiet night here tonight. Usually I have a lot of people come in. I want to shout out, spread the love. A lot of fellow streamers, right? Because there's a lot of us Football Manager streamers, Out of the Park streamers, whatever on Twitch, right? It's been a little bit quiet. So I shouted out Swanky, Cellophane, Pat Witz, DM Stewart, Ted Shadow, Agsto Foreign. I shouted out Baca Benny Studio and Frodeck Bankies. I'm out of people to shout out, but the only other streamer I know of that's currently in the viewer list is OOTP Development, so we're going to give him a shout out. Right, why don't you follow the Bing channel, the main boy, Out of the Park Developments, the people that make the game. They also make a hockey version of this as well, which is fantastic. What's it called? Franchise Hockey Manager. They released Franchise Hockey Manager 12, actually. Out of the Park's even on sale right now for $10 on Steam. So if you're looking to get into this game, baseball's amazing. It's a great sport, but buy it. It's $10. Give OOTP Developments a call. They were streaming earlier tonight too. Awesome channel for both Franchise Hockey Manager and Out of the Park Baseball. But give them a follow if you haven't already. Right, Elmer White settles in. 9th inning here, the right fielder. It'll be Dick McBride still on the mound. He's on 107 pitches so far through his 8th inning. Here's I was about to say the Birch Fist. Here's the first pitch. And that's check swing, but it's in there for a called strike anyway, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is grounded back up to short. That's over to first. That's in plenty of time. And White is retired on the 6-3. Right. That's going to bring up Davey Force, the pitcher. He is 1 for 5 in this season. He's got his first hit of the season here tonight when he singled in the 7th. First pitch to Davey Force. Grounded down to the third base side. It'll be 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That is shot into right center. He's got himself a second knock. Davey Force. This might be a triple. It is going to be a triple. Davey Force slides into third base. And he's got himself a triple for Washington. Great hit from Davey Force. The pitcher stepping up. That's one of the best hits Washington's had all night. And it comes from the guy on the mound. Runner on third, 1 out. That'll bring up Ed Duffy. Top of the order now. Duffy is 0 for 3 so far today. Here's the first pitch. That's apparently on the black. It looked high to me, but it was called on the black. It's 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Now that's definitely off the plate. It's 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Grounded foul down the third base side. It's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. That's inside. Ball 2. 2-2 now. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's grounded down towards third base. The throw is going to be over to first. That's in time, but it's going to be an RBI ground out for Ed Duffy. I just wrote him down as if he got a single. It's an RBI 5-3. That was pretty hit. That was hit to deep third. So coming in to score is going to be Davey Force, and it's now 19-2. Right. Bob Armstrong settles it. We're going to have another pinch hitter. Okay. It'll be Tom Berry. So Armstrong will finish 0 for 1. And we got ourselves bases empty, 2 outs. Berry comes in, and he has lined this into left. He's got a base hit. Good hit from Tom Berry. It keeps the game alive. That'll bring up Ned Cuthbert now. Cuthbert is 1 for 4. He had a double on his last at bat. McBride needs one more out. Here's the first pitch to Cuthbert. That's high, ball one. That was like head level. Here's the 1-0. That's right back up the mound. Base hit for Cuthbert. And he's got a single. Berry goes to second. That'll bring up shortstop John Bass. He is 1 for 4. Here's the first pitch to Bass. That's, it's a ball, but it gets by. It's a passed ball, and going to second is Foley. And I'm sorry, I wrote him under Foley. That's not Foley. That is Bob Armstrong, who got the single. So he's on second. No, it's What the heck? No, it's Tom Berry. And Cuthbert's on base? Oh, I wrote it under. Okay, I see what I did wrong. Whoops-a-daisy. Okay. There we go. So Cuthbert's on second now. Berry's on third. And Bass has got a 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. That's off the plate away. 2-0. The 2-0. Inside, ball 3. 3-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. That's 3-1. The 3-1 now. Inside, ball 4, and Bass has drawn a walk, and the bases are loaded. Second time they got the bases loaded here. Last time was in the 7th. They did not get a run across. They already have one this inning. Jim Carlton settles in again. It's his second at bat. He reached via an error his last time up. And I just stabbed myself by accident with the pencil. Here is the first pitch from Dick McBride. That's off the plate away, 1-0. The 1-0. That is popped up. Is it playable? It is, and finally the side is retired and the game is over. Right, the last inning they get no runs on 2 hits. They leave the bases loaded, and that is going to do it here in Rockford. The final score, the Washington Olympics 2, the Rockford Forest Citys 19. So close from Washington. Yeah, I know, right? Jeez. Benny, hope you're having a good stream. Quickly popping in before sleep. Sounds good. Kit, thank you so much. Yeah, it's one of the more one-sided. We've had some really great games recently. This has been the one-sided one. Right, let's go to the post-game show. Post-game show brought to you by Kit. Give them a follow if you haven't already. Last stream Football Manager, they do Risk of Rain 2, Mario Kart, Mario Party. It's a stream full of chaos. Always a good time. Kit is our post-game show sponsor. Wait, it's just all the Rams came back? I won my NFL Fantasy League. Let's go. Well done. Well done, Kit. Right. We're going to total up the, let's total up the scores here. I'm going to start with the visiting Washington Olympics, right? So, Ed Duffy, 4 at-bats, not a single hit, 1 RBI, 1 strikeout. He was also hit by the pitch, and he committed 2 fielding errors. Tom Foley had 3 at-bats. He had 1 hit. He struck out once. Ned Cuthbert, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 5 at-bats. He had 2 hits. One of them was a double, and he stole a base. John Bass, 4 at-bats. He had 1 hit. It was a double. He also had a base on balls. He also recorded 2 fielding errors. Charlie Gold, he had 3 at-bats. He got a hit. He also recorded a fielding error. John Radcliffe had 4 at-bats, not a single hit. He recorded 2 fielding errors. Charlie Mills had 4 at-bats. He did not get a single hit. Elmer White had 4 at-bats. He had 2 hits. One of them was a triple, and he scored a run. Al Pratt had 2 at-bats. He did not get a hit. Davey Force had 2 at-bats. He had 2 hits. One of them was a triple. Bob Armstrong had 1 at-bat. He did not have a hit. He also committed a fielding error. Jim Carlton had 2 at-bats. He did not get a hit. Tom Berry had an at-bat, and it was a hit. And, yes. Oh, did I miss one? I missed the run by Davey Force. Davey Force scored a run. So there you go. Total at-bats now for the Washington Olympics. 4 and 3 and 7 and 5 is 12. And 4 is 16 and 3 is 19 and 4 is 23 and 4 is 27 and 4 is 31 and 2 is 33 and 2 is 35 and 1 is 36, 2 is 38 and 1 is 39 at-bats. They scored 2 runs. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 hits. They did have 10 hits. Of those hits, they had 2 doubles, 2 triples, 1 base on balls. They had 2 strikeouts. They stole 1 base, and they had 1 RBI. They also committed 8 fielding errors. So, bad day in the field for Washington. Al Pratt gets credited with the loss. We'll come back for the pitchers in a moment. Let's do the batting statistics for the Rockford Forest Citys. Right, Cap Anson had 6 at-bats. He recorded 4 hits. He had 3 RBIs. One of those hits was a triple. He also scored 3 runs, and he committed a fielding error. George Hall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at-bats. He had 3 hits. They were all singles, but he scored 4 runs, and he had 1 RBI. Ross Barnes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at-bats, 2 hits. They were both singles. He had 1 RBI. He scored 2 runs. He stole a base, and he had a base on balls. Right. Lip Pike, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at-bats for Lip Pike, 3 hits. He had 5 RBIs. One of the hits was the home run, which was one of his 2 runs as well. He scored 2 runs. Doug Allison, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He had 6 at-bats. He recorded 3 hits. He had one of those hits was a double. He also struck out once, and he had 4 RBIs himself, and he scored 2 runs. Joe Start had 3 at-bats. He had 1 hit. It was a double. It was an RBI. He scored run, and he had a base on balls. George Bird had 4 at-bats. He recorded 1 hit. He scored 1 run. He committed 1 fielding error. George Wright had 5 at-bats. He had 1 hit. It was an RBI. He scored a run. Scored 2 runs. Beg your pardon. He scored 2 runs. And he had a fielding error as well. Dick McBride had 4 at-bats. He did not record a hit. He had a base on balls, and he had a run. Tom Pratt had 2 at-bats. He had 1 hit. Harry Dean had 2 at-bats. He had 1 hit. It was a double, and he scored a run. Did I miss any doubles or singles or triples or anything like that? Because it was a crazy, crazy, crazy game from Rockford side. I don't think I did. I have the home run recorded. I have the base on balls recorded. I think we're good. Right. So total at bats for Rockford, shall we? 6, 12, 17, 23, 29, 32, 37, 42, 46, 50 at bats. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 runs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have 20 hits. That's correct. Of those hits, 1, 2, 3 doubles, triples, 1. I have 1 triple, 1 home run, 3 base on balls, struck out once, no, 1 stolen base I have. RBIs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 10, 14, 15, 16 RBIs. That's insane for this era of baseball. And 1, 2, 3 fielding errors as well. Right. So that's the book done. I need OTP's help with the pitching stats. But Al Pratt is definitely going to get credited for the loss. I have him going 5 1/3. I have his pitch count at 117. That is correct. He gave up 2 walks. He struck out. He didn't strike out anybody. He gave up 12 hits, 14 runs, of which only 3 of them were earned. That's crazy. 14 runs, but only 3 of them were earned. That's genuinely wild. Davey Force went is that 2 1/3? Then 2 2/3. Sorry, yeah, 2 2/3. I have his pitch count at 59. Yep. He gave up 1 walk. He had the strikeout as well, the lone strikeout. He gave up 8 hits, 5 runs. How many were earned? 4 of them were earned. So the relief pitcher in 2 2/3 gave up more earned runs than Pratt. But Pratt got the loss because the bats couldn't do anything to help him. Right. It'll be Dick McBride getting the credit for the win. He went all 9 innings. I have his pitch count as 126. Yep. He gave up, 1 walk, I think it is? 1 walk, yep. He struck out 2. He gave up, he would have given up all 10 hits. And of those 2 runs, only 1 of them was earned. Match time was 2 hours, 50 minutes, 752 in attendance. Cap Anson got player of the game. I would have given it to Lib Pike because he drove in 5 runs. I would have given it to Lib Pike, including the homer. I would have definitely given it to Lib Pike. But apparently the game decided it's going to be Cap Anson. But, I mean, it's 2 for 1. I mean, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. It was you can't say Anson didn't play particularly phenomenal either. I mean, like he was just stellar, and so was Pike. Right. Let's look at the standings, and let's look at the league leaders, and then we will be out of here. So we're going to leave the game. Right, there we go. Immediately save the game. Rockford move up to 3rd. Look at those standings. Boston, the American League is unchanged with Washington's loss. Boston's at the top, 8-2. Philadelphia 7-3. They're a game back. Then it's Cleveland Forest Citys at 6-5 at 2.5 games back. The loss bumps Washington down to 4 games back. They're now 5-7. They remain at the foot of the American League. In the National League, we have climbed above the New York Mutuals. It shouldn't be because we're 3 back and they're 2.5. But still, Chicago White Stockings still at the top. They had a big win earlier to make them 6-3. Fort Wayne Kekiungos remain 6-6. They are a game and a half back. We are now in 3rd, or at least I'm not going to say 3rd, but New York Mutuals are in 3rd. They're 4-6. They are 2.5 games back. We are still in 4th, 7-10 now, 3 games back. And the Troy Haymakers are down at 4-11. They are 5 games back. It's looking over for the Troy Haymakers. Still plenty of ball for them to play. They got, I believe, 17 games left, but they are 5 games back. Right, league leaders, batting average. Cherokee Fisher for the White Stockings leads the National League, 459. Cap Anson's right behind him at 385 for Rockford. Dave Birdsall for Fort Wayne's at 372 in 3rd. Home runs, it's Lip Pike all the way. He's got 5 now on the season. George Hall is in 2nd with 3rd, both for Rockford. And then Charlie Hodes for the Chicago White Stockings has got 2. That's more than anybody on the American side, but those are their home run leaders in the NL. RBI RBIs. Lip Pike moves up to 20 to lead the league. Doug Allison's got 18. They're also for Rockford. So the hitting's there. It's been the fielding that's been really disappointing for Rockford. That's kept them down at 7 and 10. Ezra Sutton for Troy's knocked in 16. Three-way tie for stolen bases between Barnes of Rockford, Birdsall for Fort Wayne, Dickie Flowers for Fort Wayne as well. On base and slugging percentages, Lip Pike at a 1.192. Welcome home, Pat. Cherokee Fisher's got a 105.4. Gat Stiers has got a 102.2. Both of those last guys are in Chicago. I'm not big on this WAR statistic. I actually really do not like this statistic. I wish it would go away. So we're not going to cover it. The ERA, though, Cherokee Fisher in Chicago has got a .9 ERA so far. He's leading the majors. With that. And then Randy Walters got a 2.32 for the New York Mutuals. He's in second. Dick McBride is in third for Rockford at a 2.6. Three pitchers now have 6 wins. Cherokee Fisher, Dick McBride, and George Zetlin over at Fort Wayne. Strikeouts, it's Harry Wright for Troy that leads the way with 12. George Zetlin's got 11 in second for Fort Wayne. And then it's Dick McBride for Rockford on 10. And if we go over to the American League, Dave Egler leads the American League 444. Spalding is behind. That's for Cleveland. His teammate Spalding is behind him at 405. And then Philly Athletics' Sticky Pierce is on 381. Only Ed Duffy of the Washington Olympics and Charlie Gold of the Washington Olympics have hit home runs in the American League so far this season. Tom Carey of the Boston Red Stockings leads the American League in runs batted in. He's got 15. Dick Higham has got 14 for Philadelphia. John Bass for Washington has got 10. Stolen bases, it's Egler on 9. That is the top in all of the majors. Denny Mack has got 8 in second, then for both for Cleveland, and then it's Ned Cuthbert for the Washington Olympics on 7. Your OBPS is Dave Egler on a 104.0. Ed Pinkham's got a 9.42. Al Spalding on an 8.95. It's Cleveland, Philly, Cleveland for that. And then ERA, Asa Bernard for Boston is on a ERA of 2.2. That's best in the American League. Bobby Matthews for Philadelphia's got a 2.73, and then it's Al Pratt for Washington on a 3.04. Bernard of Boston and Bobby Matthews both have 6 wins. Bobby Matthews of Philly, and then it's Al Pratt with 5 for Washington. Strikeouts, Bernard for Boston leads the league. He's got 9. Spalding's got 8 for Cleveland in second, and then it's Al Pratt on just 4 for the Washington Olympics. Frank Barrows for the Philly Athletics is still the only pitcher to record a save this season. And that is your statistics. Right, next game. We're going to advance today. There's our next game. The next time we are live with Out of the Park, the schedule is pinned there for you guys. It will be Thursday. We're doing a triple header on Thursday, by the way. We're starting early in the morning. I'm in Eastern time zone, so around 9:30 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to start. It'll be the 7-3 Philadelphia Athletics, 4-2 on the road at the 5-7 Washington Olympics, who have all 5 wins at home this season. That should be a good one. Philly need to win to keep pace with Boston. That'll be the first game of the doubleheader. Chat is going to get to elect what the second game of the doubleheader is. It will either be Chicago White Stockings at the Philly Athletics or the Washington Olympics at the Boston Red Stockings. So that should be a good one as well. Especially that Chicago-Philly game's looking really juicy over there. And then the third game of our doubleheader will be Chicago and Philly. It's a double. It's a back-to-back for Chicago in Philadelphia on the 19th. So looking forward to that. The stream on Sunday the 4th is a quadruple header. Chat will get to pick between these 2 games, Washington at Troy and Cleveland at Philadelphia. They get to pick which one they want to see. The second game will be Rockford at Troy. The third game will be Chat's pick again between Boston at Troy and Washington at Cleveland. And then the final game of that stream on the 4th will be Rockford at Fort Wayne. So we got a lot of out-of-the-park baseball coming up in the next week. We got a stream on the 8th. That's going to be chat pick between these two, and then we got a stream again on the 12th. That'll be the 12th is going to be Rockford at Cleveland, and then on the 17th, for the final time before I spend a month in Europe, we're going to have a doubleheader. Chance pick between these two will be the first of that doubleheader, and it'll be Troy and New York, and we round out. We will be done June once that happens. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. The 17th is also my birthday, so we're going to finish June on the birthday stream. Thank you so much. I got a lot of people to thank. Where's my notebook, please? Let me grab it. Thank you to, first off, Latte Anarchist for the 3-stream streak. Exto Forest for the raid. Thank you to It Kit. And thank you to the viewers, which include but are not limited to It Kit, Exto Forest, Kadava, 10th Shadow, DM Stewart, Latte Anarchist, Pat Witz, Mr. Cellophane, Swanky Pants, and that boy is crazy. We are back tomorrow. It's if you're on YouTube, by the way, this is the end of the recording. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.